Hello everyone, my name is Kathy Myers, and today we are so delighted to have as our guest the Director of Recreation for East Goshen Township, Jason Lang. Welcome, Jason. Thank you so much for coming to visit us today with your busy, crazy schedule. It's the middle of summer. He's in the middle of everything. Tell us a little bit about what are some of your duties at East Goshen Township?
Well, I pretty much run around like a chicken without a head for May, June, July, and August. Obviously, summer camps or youth programs is our biggest draw. We have, at any time, 10 different programs running for kids.
Wow, 10?
10, absolutely, yeah. We have a traditional rec camp. We have animation design camps, robotic Lego camps. We run a farmer's market every Thursday in the park, as well as a host of other evening programs. So summertime is certainly my busy time throughout the calendar year.
Well, before we get in depth with all these programs, tell us, what is your background and how did you end up in East Goshen?
It's an interesting story. My background is in recreation, obviously, and what a lot of people don't understand is it's an actual formal study of how to have fun. So when I
didn't know that.
Very true, yeah. When I look at my position, we actually, in college, I have a master's in recreation. We formally learn how to have fun, how to do everything from plan, the supplies, the budgeting, the hiring, staffing, training, all those little nooks and crannies of how to put on a big event like a community day with fireworks. There's so many logistical things going on that we kind of learn all those, the nuts and bolts behind the scenes. So formally, my field is recreation. My experience is all over the place. I was in the military for 4 years, so I've been in Alaska and Arizona, Virginia, and practiced recreation in those areas. So in terms of my skills, I bring a lot of different skill sets to East Goshen. I'm originally from Allentown and made this way with my family about 1.5 years ago now. Well,
tell me, how did you ever know that there was a college that offered this and this was going to be a field?
You know what, my undergrad in Penn State, go blue and white, is political science. So for all those out there who want to major in a liberal art, you may want to steer clear. So after I did the political science degree, I went into the military and at the same time had been working with local YMCAs and just had a passion for helping communities, individuals, kids really tap into unfounded skills, develop new skills, truly bring a community together. And so after I finished my military experience, I went back, got my master's degree in recreation, and then have been doing it full time since then.
Wow, so we have a real professional and expert here. We are so blessed. I always feel blessed by just living in Chester County. It's a little bit of heaven here. It's so beautiful with all the open space, and the people in charge really do have vision to have all that open space and have these beautiful parks and trails and everything else. Well, let's start talking about some of the things. What about that amphitheater? Tell us about that.
Yeah, the amphitheater's been a really big hit this summertime. Every year we have 4 to 5 events in our amphitheater. It's in East Goshen Park. It's kind of tucked away, so if you're familiar with the park, you go in the main entrance and then you tuck around past the playground, past the basketball courts. That's where a lot of folks get hung up when they're searching for the first time for the amphitheater.
I think we need a bigger sign up front then.
I think we do. I think we do.
Put that in the master plan.
But we've hosted a few events, like I said, about 4 to 5, and every year we do at least one theater production. So this year we did a Shakespeare play. It was fantastic. We had about 200 people out there. We did an Ode to Ireland event, which was, we have tons of Irish, I'm a little bit Irish. We had 2 Irish bands come out, Irish food on site, and we had about 250 people for that one too as well.
Wow, that's an excellent turnout.
Yeah, it really is. And the amphitheater that we have, it's tiered grass seating. So people bring out their picnic blankets and chairs, and they just sit down and relax and have a great time for a couple of hours.
Oh, it sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
Now tell us about Community Day. That is, you have it every single year.
Yeah.
I think you ran into a little weather problem this year. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, Community Day, it's our biggest event of the year. We have between 3,000 and 4,000 people come out. It's in the park, and it's our catch-all fantastic event for the year. We have, for the kids, we have moon bounces and hay rides and laser tag and petting zoos, and for the adults, we have between 5 and 6 food trucks.
Wow.
Farmers market vendors come out, and then of course we end the day with a spectacular fireworks show, which quote unquote is the best in Chester County. It's this year going to be on August 29th. It's, I'm sure, going to be a big hit, and next year will probably be in June for the date. We did this year run into 2 days of spectacularly wet weather, So that's why we had to reschedule for this year.
Well, this show is going to be airing after that takes place, and I hope the weather cooperates. I know this year you had a rain date, which was the next day, and that didn't work out that well either. But it works out well for some people that maybe weren't around in June, and now they're around in August. But it takes place every year, so it'll happen again. Tell us about Movie in the Park. That's another big event that happens every year.
Yeah, we do a movie in the park. It's at the Amphitheater stage, and obviously we start right around dusk. We do typically one kids movie and then one more family-friendly movie. So typically a G-rated. This year we showed Paddington, which is the delightful bear. He goes to England and hijinks ensue. We showed it last weekend, which was August 15th. Again, we had about 300 people out there. It was fantastic. I raffle off prizes, and it's just a great family-friendly environment. We bring out kettle corn poppers, and they pop popcorn for the kids. And then in September 12th, we'll be showing Ghostbusters, which is our kind of upper level, more family, teen, and adult-oriented movie. And Ghostbusters came out when I was 5 years old, and it was a huge hit back then. And everybody I've talked to can't wait for that movie to come out in September.
Just the theme song puts you in a happy,
smiling mood. Oh, it's so much fun. It's so much fun.
It's a fun movie, that's for sure. And then the Pumpkin Fest.
Yeah, our Pumpkin Fest is every year in mid-October. This year, October 17th. And this is another great family-friendly event. We have hay rides and petting zoos. We have, believe it or not, frozen turkey bowling.
Tell us a little bit about that. I never heard of that before.
I've been doing frozen turkey bowling since high school, and it's essentially a fundraising kind of event where you literally take frozen turkeys. Giant has been gracious enough to provide them for this past year. You take frozen turkeys and chickens, and you hurl them down a lane towards plastic bowling pins. And you, of course, there's a donation involved with it, and you crown a trophy at the end. It's hysterically funny.
So you've been doing this before?
I've been doing this for 15 years, yeah.
Have we done it in East Goshen?
Last year we did it for the first year.
And what did people think? They probably didn't know quite what they were going to be attending when they first showed up.
They had a puzzled look on their face at first, and then once they did their first toss, like, I need to do that again.
So that brings the donations in.
It's fun.
Oh, that sounds like fun. Oh, I'll have to go to that this year. And then the New York City bus trip, that's always a big hit with everybody. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, we go on 3 bus trips throughout the calendar year. We do DC once, we do New York City in the spring, and then our big one is right around Christmas time, we go back to New York City. And we take around 100 people each time, 2 bus loads. And it's very simple. It's a $40 bus fee, which if you tabulate it up, if you take the train or a bus, or you take the toll, the tunnel, you really can't beat the price. And we load up at the Township building, cruise on down. We park near Bryant Park, which is right near Times Square. So it's pretty central to the theater district and Times Square, obviously, and all the other good stuff. And then we cruise on back home when everybody's done, and it's a simple, fun, easy way to go to New York City. You don't have to worry about parking or cars or traffic or any of that.
That's great, because there's so much construction and so much
it's
traffic.
true.
It's wild there. But tell me, so you plan your own itinerary, basically. If you want to attend a play or if you want to go to dinner, it's on you. They're just providing the opportunity.
Yep, yeah, we're providing a very large taxi service, essentially. And so once we get up there, I take roll to make sure I bring everybody back and, that kind of thing. But then everybody's on their own, and it's nice because it's not tied to one specific activity. If a chunk of folks want to go see a play, they can, or they want to do some Christmas shopping, they can, or they just want to walk around and see the sights, they can. So it's a nice trip.
And I guess I didn't realize that you also do, you mentioned Washington, D.C. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, we do Washington, D.C. every spring, and we try and hit the Cherry Blossom Festival.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Which is always, we cross our fingers on the weather, because for marketing purposes, you put out the date in December, and then you hope that the date you pick, the blossoms are opening. So every year we're 50-50 whether we get the blossoms or not, but that's a nice trip. Even if the blossoms aren't open, DC is a fantastic city to go down and visit the museums.
And hound your legislators. That's what I think you ought to be doing.
That's what we
there.
do. That's secretly. That's what I do.
By all means, we should take advantage of that. This is getting a little crazy. Now tell us about your open space plan. There's all kinds of plans for East Goshen.
Yeah, East Goshen, like you said earlier, Chester County itself it's a fantastic area to live in. And East Goshen Township is truly taking that next step, which is the planning phase, where you take a look at all your park assets, the amenities, the facilities there, and then plan for the next 10 to 15 years of development. So exactly what the community has now, what recreational needs are looking for, and then how you plan to make that happen over the next 10 to 15 years. So we just finished an open space plan, and the number one demand of residents in this area was for increased trails. So one trail study we're looking at right now is linking the high school to the YMCA, straight down Paoli all the way to Willistown Township, which would be fantastic.
Wow.
You'd be able to walk from the Y to all the high school and the middle school, right down Paoli safely, because we all know people drive a little fast down Paoli.
And there's not really much shoulder.
It's true, it's
you
true.
take your life in your
and
hands.
this would be an 8 to 10 foot wide bike path, so you could bike or walk, take a stroller. It would link up with the CVS all the way down to the park.
That would be heavenly. Oh, that would be fantastic, because we seem like such a health-oriented population here with the trails that we are blessed to have. I
Yeah.
love the running trails and everything that you do have over there, but you can't really take a quick walk to the store.
Oh, it's absolutely true.
Because
You
I
really
saw this
can't.
book, which I was going to read, I never quite finished it, called Divorce Your Car. And the theory is great, to try and get in shape. And there's nothing better than walking. They say sitting is the new smoking. You got to walk.
That's
That
a
is
good
the big
point.
deal. So that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, tell us what else about this plan? Like, you're going to have meetings, people can get involved. What should we be doing
Yeah.
here in Hershey's Mill?
Yeah, what should we be doing? That's a fantastic point. The biggest thing is get involved. So in a little bit, we'll go over my phone number and my email address. Please don't hit me up too many times per day, but I want your input. My job 100% is to provide Hershey's Mill residents and East Goshen residents as a whole with opportunities for fun, events, and programming. And I can really only make that happen if residents are saying, hey Jason, I really need X, Y, and Z to happen. Can you do it? I may say no, but hopefully I'll say yes. I really need input from residents. So the biggest thing is with the open space plan and moving forward with the park master plan is, as over the next 10 years we say really what do we want this to look like, is we'll be hosting public meetings, 2 to 3 meetings over the fall and winter time, which will be the formal opportunity for residents to come and talk with myself and the members of the park commission about exactly what they need as a township to provide in terms of the parks, facilities, ball fields, sport fields, all those kinds of things.
So you have constant contact. If we give you our email address, I know you keep people updated that way. You're on Facebook. East Goshen has a great website of their own.
Yeah.
So there's no excuse. You can't just stand around and complain. You've got to communicate. That's the big
There's
thing
no
right there, right?
excuse. Yes, there's no excuse. Yeah, obviously the website is the number one draw, eastgoshen.org. Our Facebook page is the most time sensitive. So for instance, this Thursday we'll have a farmer's market. And if we get hit with a major thunderstorm, I can't call 20,000 people and say farmer's market's canceled. I'll put it on Facebook and put it on the website. So those are 2 ways that you can stay really in constant contact with myself and with East Goshen News.
And I know we're going to probably put your phone number on the screen, 610-692-7171, correct?
Absolutely, you got it.
Well, this has been absolutely delightful. We've only touched the tip of the iceberg. There's so much going on. It's such an exciting and, as I said, heavenly place to live, this East Goshen.
Very
and
true.
Obviously, we're very happy to have you part
Thank
of
you
it,
very
a
much.
professional that's going to tell us how to recreate. What more could you ask?
Thank you very much. Thanks for
Well,
having me.
it's been delightful. We've only got 1 minute left. Is there something we forgot to say?
I don't think so. I don't think we missed anything. I would just, once again, just reiterate that my job is really entrenched in providing the best services and recreation to the residents. So don't be afraid to call me up and say, hey, the park really needs to be cleaned. The bathroom was a mess this weekend. Or why don't we play pickleball on the tennis courts? I really implore residents to jump on constant contact, Facebook and through email and calling me, and really get in touch with me to make sure that I can do my job as best that I can.
Well, also, not just complaints. Let's have some compliments. We are, as I said a million times, ad nauseum, blessed to live in East Goshen. When Jason's doing something fantastic, let his boss know. The best way to give somebody a compliment is not to tell Jason, tell their boss. So make sure you let all the big shots in East Goshen know that it's fantastic. Pat them on the back for hiring Jason in the first place. That was an excellent suggestion and idea to follow through on. But let's just appreciate what it is we have here. So we are so thrilled that you could tune in today and learn a little bit about this heavenly place that we live. And we want you to stay tuned and stay informed.